Success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines practiced every day. 1 hour, just 60 minutes. That's all it takes to start changing your life. Most people underestimate what they can do in an hour, and they overestimate what they can do in a day filled with distraction. 1 hour a day doesn't seem like much. That's what makes it so powerful. It's small enough to feel doable, yet consistent enough to cause a ripple effect through your entire life. That 1 hour becomes sacred. It becomes your investment into a version of you that is waiting to be built. And when you show up for that hour every single day, something extraordinary begins to happen. You grow, you shift, you rise. Think about it. 1 hour a day dedicated to your dream. 1 hour learning a new skill. 1 hour writing that book you've kept inside you. 1 hour exercising. 1 hour meditating. 1 hour in silence with your thoughts, mapping out the kind of life you want to create. You don't need to wait for the perfect time, because this is the perfect time. The clock is always running, but your focus is what changes its value. We live in a world that glorifies busyness, but transformation doesn't require chaos. It requires clarity. It's not about doing 100 things. It's about doing one thing repeatedly with intention. If you gave just 1 hour every day to something that truly mattered to you, imagine where you'd be in a year. That's over 350 hours. That's almost 9 40-hour work weeks. That's the difference between dreaming and building. Consistency beats intensity. Anyone can go all in for a day. Anyone can start something when they're feeling motivated. But the real work begins when the mood fades and discipline kicks in. That 1 hour, when you don't feel like it, when you're tired, when you're busy, is the hour that matters most. It's the hour that separates the committed from the curious. And over time, it's the hour that will shape your day. Don't wait until everything is perfect. Don't wait until you have more time or more energy or more support. That waiting is how years slip through your fingers. Just start. Start messy, start small, start with whatever you have, but start. And keep showing up. Because the universe responds to momentum, not hesitation. Life moves for those who move with it. 1 hour a day is your quiet rebellion against the noise. It's your way of taking back control from everything that pulls at your attention. It's a line in the sand that says, I'm not going to drift through this life. And that 1 hour creates a rhythm, a heartbeat, a pattern that eventually rewrites your identity. You stop being the person who wants to change and become the person who is changing. When people look at someone successful, they often wonder, what's their secret? The answer is often shockingly simple. They decided to use their hours differently. They stopped wasting the small windows of time and started honoring them. They understood that every masterpiece begins with a single stroke, every strong body with a single rep, every legacy with a single step, 1 hour at a time. You don't need to overhaul your life overnight. You just need to commit to 1 hour, an hour that belongs to you, your future, and your highest potential. Guard it, protect it, let it become a sanctuary, and as the days pass, you'll realize something incredible. It wasn't just what you did in that hour, it's who you became by refusing to let that hour be wasted. So wherever you are right now, remember this. You're only ever 1 hour away from a better version of yourself, 1 hour away from new momentum, 1 hour away from proving to yourself that you're serious about the life you say you want. That hour is waiting, and so is your transformation. 1 focused hour a day might seem insignificant in the grand scheme of things. It's just a fraction of the 24 hours we all receive. Yet that single hour, when repeated with purpose and intention, holds a power that most people never tap into. The power of compounding, not in terms of money, but in habits, knowledge, energy, and momentum. Think of it this way. If you saved just $1 a day, it wouldn't feel like much, but compound it over time and it grows. The same principle applies to time invested in yourself. 1 hour a day spent reading turns into 365 hours of learning in a year. 1 hour a day writing becomes a book. 1 hour a day working out transforms your body. 1 hour a day meditating changes the architecture of your mind. The change is never immediate. That's why most people abandon the process too soon. But if you hold the line, if you protect that hour like it's sacred, because it is, you begin to witness a kind of quiet transformation that sneaks up on you. And one day you'll look in the mirror and not recognize who you were before you began. The compounding effect doesn't require perfection, it just demands consistency. You don't have to be extraordinary every day, you just have to keep showing up. Miss a day and it's okay, just don't miss 2, because when you stack those hours, every day after day, they begin to build something greater than you can see from the beginning. 1 focused hour becomes a brick, and those bricks become a wall, and that wall becomes a foundation. Eventually you build a fortress that protects your dreams and houses your new identity. Most people overestimate what they can accomplish in a day, and they underestimate what they can accomplish in a year with just a little focus. We live in an age of instant gratification, where if we don't see immediate results, we assume we're failing. But the truth is, anything lasting takes time to grow. A seed planted in the soil doesn't sprout the next morning. It needs light, water, patience, and consistency. Your growth is no different. That 1 hour a day is your watering can, your daily ray of sunlight, your consistent nurturing force that tells the universe, I'm serious about becoming who I say I want to be. And here's the thing, life responds to that, not in dramatic overnight explosions, but in subtle shifts. New ideas find you. Confidence builds quietly. You begin to feel like you're gaining ground. And even if no one else notices, you will. Because transformation is personal. It doesn't need an audience. That's the beauty of one focused hour. It's often invisible to others, but undeniable to you. Let's also talk about energy. When you dedicate 1 hour a day to something that feeds your soul or builds your future, your overall energy changes. You walk differently, you speak with more conviction, you begin to act like a person who has a purpose because you do. That hour becomes your proof. Even on the worst days, you have that 1 hour to anchor you, to remind you that you're not drifting, you're still building. It doesn't matter if that hour happens early in the morning or late at night, it just matters that it happens, that it belongs to you, that you guard it like it's non-negotiable, because it is. Everyone else has 24 hours too, but not everyone decides to claim even one of them with intention. The world will always find a way to steal your time if you let it, but when you claim 1 hour as yours, fully yours, you reclaim power. You stop being a passenger in your life and start being a creator. In the beginning, results will feel small. They may even feel non-existent. That's the trap. That's where most people quit, but you're not most people. If you can learn to love the process more than the outcome, to show up for the hour whether it feels good or not, then the results won't just be good, they'll be exponential. Because an hour of deep focus doesn't just add up, it multiplies, it expands your capacity, it sharpens your skills, it rewires your mind, it aligns your energy, it opens doors you didn't even know existed. And the best part is the longer you keep showing up, the less effort it takes. Momentum takes over, habits form, identity shifts, and before long, you're not trying to become the version of yourself you once dreamed of. You are that person. 1 hour every day. That's it. Not 10, not 5, just 1. And if you give yourself that, fully and faithfully, you'll look back months or years from now and realize that you didn't just change your routine, you changed your life, 1 hour at a time. Consistency matters more than intensity because it creates a steady rhythm, a reliable heartbeat that sustains progress over time. Think about a dripping faucet. Each drop on its own is small, almost insignificant, but left to drip consistently over days and weeks, it can carve through stone. Intensity might flood a space quickly, but it's often fleeting. A burst of energy that burns bright and then fades. Consistency, on the other hand, is the quiet force that outlasts enthusiasm, outperforms short-term effort, and builds unshakable momentum. Many people believe that to make a big change, they have to work harder, longer, and with more force every single day. But the truth is, this kind of intensity is usually unsustainable. It leads to burnout, frustration, and eventually giving up. Consistency doesn't demand perfection or maximum output each time. It asks only for presence, showing up day after day, regardless of how you feel or what's going on around you. This principle is echoed in many timeless teachings, like those found in books such as Atomic Habits by James Clear. Clear explains how small, repeated actions become the building blocks of extraordinary results. What matters is not how hard you push in a moment, but how reliably you keep the momentum going. Like planting a seed, it's not the one-time pouring of water that makes it grow, but the daily care and attention over time. When you choose consistency over intensity, you're choosing patience. You're trusting the process. You're saying, I may not be able to move mountains today, but I can move a pebble and tomorrow I'll do the same. This steady approach gradually rewires your brain, reshapes your habits, and strengthens your willpower. Over weeks and months, what once felt like a struggle becomes a natural part of your daily life. There's also a psychological advantage. Consistency builds confidence. Every day you show up, you prove to yourself that you can be reliable, that you're capable of commitment. This success, no matter how small, fuels motivation far better than bursts of intense effort followed by periods of inactivity. It's important to recognize that life will challenge your consistency. There will be days when your energy is low, when distractions pull you away, or when setbacks tempt you to stop. This is where consistency shows its true power. This steadfastness is what separates those who achieve lasting change from those who only experience temporary spikes of effort. Consistency also protects you from the trap of all or nothing thinking. When intensity dominates, people tend to swing between extremes, either pushing too hard and burning out or giving up entirely after a setback. But with consistency, the path is smoother, more forgiving. Missing a day doesn't feel like failure. It's simply a blip on a much longer journey. You can pick up right where you left off without losing ground. In the realm of personal growth, mastery, or any meaningful endeavor, the compound effect of consistency is unstoppable. It's like the tide that slowly reshapes the shore, imperceptible at first, but undeniable over time. When you embrace this rhythm, you tap into a deeper kind of strength, one that's not flashy, but enduring, not explosive, but powerful. So rather than waiting for a surge of motivation or forcing yourself into exhausting sprints, focus on creating habits that you can maintain. Choose small, manageable actions that fit into your daily life. Set realistic goals that encourage steady progress instead of overwhelming leaps. The key is to be gentle with yourself and persistent with your practice. Remember, the great oak tree didn't grow overnight. It grew because it weathered countless seasons, dropped its acorns faithfully, and stood firm through storms. Your success, your transformation follows the same law. Consistency isn't glamorous, it's not dramatic, but it's the backbone of every achievement worth having. Commit to the power of consistency, and you'll find that change doesn't just happen. It builds, grows, and lasts. One small action repeated daily is more powerful than any grand gesture done once in a while. It's not about how much you do when you're fired up. It's about how often you come back steady and sure day after day. That's the secret that turns ordinary efforts into extraordinary lives. Even the smallest progress, when repeated day after day, can lead to massive transformation over time. This idea may sound simple, maybe even obvious, but it's one of the most profound truths about how change actually works. It's the principle behind every great achievement, every masterpiece, and every life rewritten from struggle to success. Think of progress like the gentle rise of the sun. Each morning it climbs just a little higher in the sky, often unnoticed at first. Yet over weeks and months, this steady ascent brings the light that fills the world, warms the earth, and awakens life. Small increments, barely visible in the moment, accumulate into something breathtaking and powerful. Our personal growth works the same way. Many people make the mistake of underestimating the value of tiny steps. They want results immediately, to feel the rush of success or see dramatic changes overnight. But life rarely works like that. The habits we build, the skills we develop, the mindset we nurture all grow slowly. The challenge is that these early changes often don't feel significant. That's why so many give up before the real magic begins. They forget that the most massive transformations start with just one small step forward. This idea is beautifully explored in books like The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson. Olson explains how daily, seemingly insignificant actions like reading a few pages, practicing a skill, or choosing healthy food compound into extraordinary success. The secret is that progress is not a one-time event, but a process, a series of small wins stacked upon each other. What feels tiny today could become the foundation for an entirely new life tomorrow. When you focus on small progress, you build momentum. Momentum is that invisible force that makes the next step easier. Each small victory releases dopamine in your brain, the feel-good chemical that motivates you to keep going. This creates a positive feedback loop where progress breeds more progress, slowly transforming your habits, your confidence, and your identity. Moreover, small progress reduces the overwhelm that often stops people from starting or continuing. When you break big goals into tiny actions, the path for it becomes clear and manageable. It's like climbing a mountain, one step at a time instead of trying to leap to the top in a single bound. Each step taken is a success in itself, encouraging you to move forward with more energy and less fear. Small progress also teaches patience and resilience. Life throws challenges at us, and setbacks are inevitable. But when your focus is on consistent small improvements rather than giant leaps, you're more likely to keep going despite obstacles. You learn that failure is not the end, but part of the process, a lesson, not a defeat. This mindset is what separates those who eventually succeed from those who give up early. There's a deeper truth here too. Massive transformation doesn't just change what you do, it changes who you are. Each small progress shifts your identity bit by bit. You start seeing yourself as someone who can learn, grow, and improve. You begin to internalize the belief that change is possible, that you're capable of more than you thought. This shift in identity is what sustains long-term success because it aligns your actions with your sense of self. Think about athletes, artists, or entrepreneurs who have reached extraordinary levels of achievement. Their journey wasn't a sudden explosion of talent or luck. It was years, often decades of consistent small projects, daily practice, learning from mistakes, and refining their craft. They understood that greatness is not built in a day, but forged in the quiet, persistent moments that no one sees. This is why it's crucial to celebrate small wins. Each little step forward is evidence that you are moving in the right direction. It's proof that your efforts matter. Celebrating progress fuels motivation, builds confidence, and keeps your vision alive. It's a reminder that transformation is happening even when the finish line feels far away. Small progress also encourages a mindset of growth rather than perfection. Instead of waiting to be perfect before you act, you take imperfect steps consistently. You embrace learning, adjust as you go, and keep moving forward. This openness to growth invites new possibilities and creativity, making your journey more fulfilling and sustainable. And when you start to recognize the power of small progress, your perspective on time and effort changes. You realize that 1 hour a day dedicated to your dreams, one healthy meal, one moment of mindfulness, or one positive thought. So don't dismiss small progress as insignificant or too slow. It's the very fabric of lasting change. When you commit to making tiny improvements consistently, you tap into a force that can move mountains, one pebble at a time. This is the secret to turning your dreams into reality and to living a life that, in the fullness of time,